Listen.
Most people think arms and your back is the most important part of being a physical bowler, but in my style of bowling, it's my legs. It's balance and timing, and the legs give me the leverage I need.
And he hits that foul line so smoothly. That's very important, the legs.
And Bo, I had the pleasure in Memphis to tell those watching the Hall of Fame that you were a tremendous athlete, which you are, and I know you agree about the legs.
Most important thing in sports.
That was a head pin hit, leaving the 6-10 on the left lane for Fred Connor. He's from Mar Vista, California.
Don Carter Lanes is a back-to-back bowling center where there's certain segment of lanes on one side and one on the other side. This particular side of the lanes, the low number lanes, did not hook quite as much as the high side. Reason being just more play on one side of the house.
Cross lane, hitting first the 6, taking out the 10, and all spares now as Bo Bowden is back up. He also is 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs 175, averaged 213 on this championship pair. First strike of our first match here live as we watch his profile.
Bowden with that low crouch style and that cupped wrist. See how it's cupped all the way, even a slightly bent elbow like Don Carter used to have. Releases at the last minute with that wrist rotation and the big hook ball.
The Texan trying to double. He goes out to a 12-pin lead here in our first match. The winner to meet Jeff Mattingly.
This exemplifies the power player's style. The very light hit, the pins going to the sideboard, the head pin taking out the 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. One pin taking out 5. Tremendous pin action, but that's the contemporary game of today.
Fred Connor gets his first strike of his first match live from Miami, Florida. And at the top of our show, as you look at the 12-pin deficit, Connor, he can bring that a lot closer if he can strike here, trailing by 2. Bill Coleman, we had him on the road again with our friend Willie Nelson musically in the background. Well, Bill this week finished 15th in the True Value Hardware Open and earning $2,100. Leaving a 6-pin with a high hit.
Chris, he just cut through. He very nearly had the 4-6 split. The headboard going, the head pin going to the sideboard, and taking out the 2, 4, and 7. Easy spare cross lane.
First match is close as 5 bowlers try for the $21,000 first prize. Our first match will continue after this.
The new world car takes on snow country. This is the Ford Escort liftgate.
Plenty of room to load up.
Then up we go.
Escort has the highest mileage ratings of any American-built wagon. It's also the only American-built wagon with 4-wheel independent suspension and front-wheel drive traction. It's engineered to get you there with room to spare. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world, and doing it.
We are very proud of you, Peabody.
Thank you, sir.
Your design of the Firestone 721 is brilliant.
Well,
a tire using 7 around 2 wrapped by 1. Genius.
Oh.
24 million on the road, Peabody. And we're grateful.
Chief,
Just one more thing.
Sure.
Now, Peabody, we want you to top it.
Top it?
The Firestone 721. It's one tough tire to top.
Olympic gold medalist Michael Spinks, undefeated in 15 pro fights. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, he puts his perfect record and #1 ranking on the line against Marvin Johnson, who's held both light heavyweight titles. Plus, Kentucky Derby hopefuls in the Flamingo Stakes. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next.
It's a light heavyweight fight. Spinks versus Johnson. Should be a tremendous light heavyweight bout. And then Flamingo Stakes. The heavyweight fight live except on the West Coast, and the Flamingo Stakes live except on the West Coast, and the Miami and West Palm Beach areas are blacked out. Craig Muller, he finished 6th. Good week for Craig. Glad to see him back there cashing. Is now Bo Bowden, who has a 12-pin lead, shooting in the 4th frame. He opened with a spare. He's got a double working for him now. First time on our Pro Bowlers Tour telecast. So he jumps ahead to a 22-pin lead. And earlier we asked him why he waited so long to join the National Pro Tour.
I came on the tour when I was 23 because when I was 18 or 19, I didn't have the financial backing to put me out. Now I found a sponsor, and I decided to come give it a shot.
All right, now he's got a 3-bagger shooting in the 5th frame here in Miami. And up goes his lead to 33 pins. All the while, Fred Connor was just sitting there and watching it along with you. So look at a 32-pin lead deficit for this big right-hander who has a spare working in the 4th, now shooting in the 5th frame. That's how he sets that ball. Leaving the 2-5 on the right lane as we replay the profile. The man that carefully sets himself, look how he holds that arm right against his body, and his slide to the line is beautiful. He had a great follow-through on that last shot, too. Fred Connor. 2-5. Okay. That's a spare in the 5th frame. A match that Bo Bowden is leading by 34 pins. And as we said, the winner will meet Jeff Mattingly. You'll love his hook shot. The winner of that match against Bob Handley, crouching Bob Handley, and then Marshall Holman, who excites a crowd. Connor has only 1 strike in 5 frames, shooting in the 6th now. Crossing over, getting it. Well, he needed that strike in the 6th frame, 96 through 5, because his opponent has strung 4 after opening with a spare in the 1st frame. As a young man, not being out on the tour, he worked in a warehouse. He is married, his wife Karen, 1 child named Brandon. Getting all but the 8-pin here at the Don Carter Kendall Lanes.
Chris Bowden is definitely zeroed in the pocket, but Fred Connor has struggled all the way through, and I think the advantage that Bowden has is he's playing farther inside and letting the hook snap sharper at the back end.
Well, after 4 strikes, a spare in the 6th frame for Bowden, and you see the lead, 33 pins. Big purse here of $130,000, 21 to the winner, 11 for 2nd.
Neither player eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
This is our 12th week, 4 to go here on the Winter Tour. Oh, they're cropping up the 4, 6, 7, 10.
We spoke of the advantages of the big hook, but there's some disadvantages. When you throw it a little too slow, cuts right through the middle, the big 4. A count that can change a match around very quickly. He was going at a 229 pace. He now will be down around 210.
All right, leaving 3, the 4, 6, 7. It's an open frame after good consistency. The lead now is cut to 16 pins. We'll take a break and then return.
Better scores.
Fellas, what's in this bag can turn our season around. Watch. The best hook with your ball comes in like so. Not bad. This ball comes into the pocket like this. That's better. Better angle, better carry, higher scores. Why? Because this is the world's only urethane ball, and it's called
The Angle.
Remember, if you want to be a winner, you gotta have an angle.
The Angle, available soon at your pro shop.
Hey, there
there, Tex. What in the blazes is that thing?
This is one of them new small models.
Ride good?
Good, rides great. Got me some Monroe-matic shocks. Little big shocks from Monroe.
Little big shocks.
Yep, best ride I ever had.
Of course, them's Monroe's.
Darn tootin' Monroe little big shocks. Even fits imports.
Yeah, imports. What's imports?
Small car, America rides Monroe.
Next week, the Pro Bowlers Tour travels to Baltimore, Maryland for the finals of the $100,000 Fairlanes Open. Nelson Burton Jr. will be on hand to try and defend his title he won a year ago. So join ABC Sports next Saturday for live coverage of the championship round at 3:30 Eastern Time.
All right, we're back again at the Don Carter Kendall Lanes in Miami. It's a True Value Hardware Open, and we're live. Our first match continues. Fred Connor, at one point, was trailing by 34 pins as a result of a non-conversion on a split. He now trails by only 16. He can cut it to 6 with a strike here in the 7th frame. Applying the pressure. A double. All right, let's go to Hall of Famer, Bo Burton.
Thank you, Chris. With me is the man who was voted the greatest bowler of all time and the owner of this bowling center, Don Carter. Don, the secret to hitting lanes 23 and 24 here at Kendall Lanes.
Well, I think they're both going to hit the pocket. And talking with the players, the left-hand lane is a little more difficult to carry on. It's not one of our best pair, but I think they're going to bowl well. Whoever carries better on 23, I think, will win. But the big job is to beat Marshall Holman, and he's been tough this week.
Thank you, Don. He says the key is to hit lane 23, Chris.
All right. Don Carter, doesn't he look great? Everything but the 10 pin, and Fred was running it out thinking he might have it, but he still only trails by 7 pins. He's looking at the overhead score sheet here at a very modern bowling facility. Great smoothness in covering the 10 pin and keeping Bowden's lead to 7 pins. Bowden failed to convert a split in the 7th. He's now be shooting in the 8th frame with that 7-pin lead.
Chris, and there's a shot that the crankers depend on. The light hit blowing the 1 and 5 pin straight over to the left side and tearing out the left part of the rack. Notice how the head pin came back across, and as we call it, the messenger shot would have got the 10 if it had still been up.
Boy, what a spot to be in as you look at Karen Bowden. 9th frame, foundation frame, a strike in the 8th, leading by 7. Here's a big shot. All but the 4.
The light hit the head pin going to the sideboard, just went between the 4 and 7, narrowly missing the 4 pin, which would have given him a commanding lead. But now the match, with its conversion, will leave it down to the final 2 frames to settle the issue. 7-pin difference.
Close. First game, and Karen knows it. Her husband's first time on our telecast. And Fred Connor now, the glider pilot. Rick Mason. That one just didn't come up. 8 falls late, leaving the 2, 4, 5.
Probably the hardest spare that bowlers leave very often on the tour is the 2-4-5. Simple reason being is that with the plastic pins and the plastic finish, the ball breaks very sharply at the back end. It's an easy spare to chop.
Spare in the ninth for Fred Connor, trailing by 10. Winner to meet, powerful Jeff Mattingly.
With that 3-pin leave, Connors has left the difference 10 pins. Now with the 3 strikes in the 10th, he would put us in a tie situation. So it still comes down to the last frame in professional bowling. All these players within 1 or 2 pins in average every year. It's a man who could perform at the end. Connors needs a double to force Bowden to double. And how disappointed can you be? The best shot of the match for Fred Connors in the clutch. Watch this hit. Very unusual. Watch the 5 pin. The head pin hits the 1 and the 3, goes directly into the 5, and chops it off the 8 pin. The solid 8. Truly one of the only taps in the game of bowling. And what a bad time to leave that hit.
Frustrating. All right, covers the 8 pin.
Fred Connors needs a 9-pin count to force Bo Bowden to mark to win the first match. Must regain his composure and still try to get another strike, or at least 9 would force Bowden to mark.
Loser of this match, $5,000. But the winner has a chance toward the $21,000 prize, plus a gold-plated hammer, encased.
And you see Connors react to that 7-pin count, 198. That forces Bowden to get at least 8 pins on the first ball and 9 out. So that really takes a little of the pressure off Bo Bowden.
23 years old. Well, he got 8, Bo, as we replay the shot.
The 4-9, that leaves the possibility wide open of a tie match. The ball cutting through very sharply, the head pin going to the sideboard and not taking out. Bowden needs 1 pin to win the match. 1 pin.
First shot on our live telecast on the Professional Bowlers Tour. We'll have the final score. Connors shot a 198. It is a 199 for Bo Bowden. Let's pause a few moments to hear these messages from some of the people who are bringing you this week's stop on the Pro Bowlers Tour.
The Pro Bowlers Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. True Value, more than just a name, it's our way of doing business. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the new 1981 Ford cars and trucks, including Escort, the new world car from Ford.
All right. Coming up next after, there's Jeff Mattingly, 199 to 198, Bowden over Connor. It's now Bowden against Mattingly right after this.
Right guard knows a man needs all the protection he can get. That's why a man needs right guard. Right guard has a male effectiveness formula so strong it helps stop a man's perspiration odor all day long. So no matter which right guard you choose, you can't buy harder working protection. A man works hard, but right guard works harder.
If you choose your tools as carefully as you use them, choose Master Mechanic tools from True Value Hardware Stores. Master Mechanic tools are American-made from superior materials to give you the performance and long life you would expect from a professional quality tool. True Value Hardware Stores are so confident of this quality that they'll replace any Master Mechanic tool that fails to perform as expected. And that means any tool from the wide line of Master Mechanic tools sold only at participating True Value Hardware Stores.
Sunday at a special time. Jane Seymour with James Bond and Live and Let Die.
Pick up some Olympia beer and celebrate Artesian New Year. March 23rd through April 17th.
Here's a toast to those who love the sky.
The wings of America. Make them yours. Air workforce, a great way of life.
Nothing will stop the USA.
You're watching KOBI 5M Medford.
You're watching the Pro Bowlers Tour telecast from Miami, and we hope you saw the first match, a one-pin victory for Bo Bowden. First appearance on our telecast. He did it to Fred Connor. Connor, $5,000, and now Bowden goes against 29-year-old Jeff Mattingly, 225-pounder, who will shoot first on the left lane. There's Jeff from Tacoma, Washington.
Jeff, the forerunner of the big hook ball on the tour. We remember when he first came on, he amazed us all. Today, there's a lot of Jeff Mattinglys out there.
Has to open with a 4-10.
The late Billy Wayloose said it best. Trust is a must or your game is a bust. Mattingly, the big hook, did not send it wide enough, did not trust the ball far enough to the right. The 4-10 split, the result.
Well, that brought the crowd to its best and oohing and ahhing because he was that close. But it's an open for Mattingly. First frame. Now the winner of the first match, 199 to 198, Bo Bowden of Dallas. All but the 4 after having 5 strikes in his victory against Fred Connor.
Bowden, a quiet, reserved type of player, Chris, but his background, I've known him for years. He is a great practicer. He put down 50 games a week as practice on his bio, but I know he practiced well over 200 before coming out here.
His average on this pair was 219. Make it 213 this week. His opponent averaged 219.
It's just difficult to beat that practice for the young player that would like to come out on a tour. I would recommend at least 100 games a week with some physical training to condition yourself for the Pro Tour.
Little mixing action, getting first strike here in the second match from Kendall Lanes in Miami.
Watch the ball and the head pin. The head pin, the first pin, goes to the sideboard. The 4-5-7 is left there. Now, years ago, when we talked about the heavier pins, you may have gotten a split on that shot, but today's with a light plastic ball, the head pin does the work, and it ends up a strike.
See what Mattingly can do after an open. No, it's a high hit, but he avoided a split, leaving the 3-6 on the right lane.
For a top player, Jeff Mattingly probably has the poorest television record of any player. He has only won 1 match, and that was at the Firestone Tournament of Champions when Steve Neff bowled a 133 in his whole career. And he has bowled about 8 or 9 games on television.
That spare coming in the second frame. As we asked Jeff earlier what he has done to help make his shooting spares better.
I've improved my spare making by cutting down the hook on the ball that I throw for my strike ball. It creates less chance of chopping off spares, and therefore I create a little better, I think, percentage for myself of picking up spares.
All right. And he looked good, getting his first strike of the second match.
And Mattingly has made the adjustment. He's moved farther to the left on the approach to give that big hook ball some room to break. A result, a perfect strike. All 10 pins in the pit. Bowden strike working, leads by 12, can increase to 22.
There he did it with that big double. He had 5 strikes in the first game. Cool customer.
Chris, you've been around sports for years. How does a young man be so composed his first time out? Is it practice or just building your natural?
Helps to have a great wife.
Oh, well, that he does.
to go with it all. .610 on the left lane.
The key to Bowden's game is to have the arm swing go directly towards the target. He's playing between the second and third arrow. And as his arm comes through, if you see his elbow go to the right before he releases the ball, it's usually an errant shot. The key is to go follow through right towards your target.
So with a cross-lane shot, Bowden marks to the spare in the fourth frame and leads by 20. We'll be back with more of this second match after this.
This is clear, solid lucite. Tough, durable, made by DuPont to last. Wouldn't it be great if a paint gave you this? Lucite wall paint does. The same basic ingredient in solid lucite is a key ingredient in liquid lucite. So it's tough, durable, made to wash easily, made to last. Lucite, the long-lasting paint based on a solid idea from DuPont. Now save $3 to $5 or more on lucite at participating stores.
Here comes the tough new 1981 Ford. Once again, Ford's got the jump on its competition. Yes, Ford has the jump with the only pickup with estimated MPG this high and 2,500-pound payloads. Ford has the jump with the longest range of any pickup. Nobody has mileage and range this high with payload this big. See the tough 1981 Ford. It's got the jump on its competitors to give you the jump where it counts. At the pump.
We're in the land of the waving palm trees. That's right, Miami, Florida. And we're in our second match in our live coverage of the $130,000 True Value Hardware Open. Jeff Mattingly, who finished third after 48 games, has a strike working in the third frame, shooting in the fourth. Just wouldn't come up. Tell us about his profile, his style.
Mattingly, the short backswing, the cupped wrist. Watch his wrist. He's the first player to come out in a tour with actually we call a palm shot. His hand rolls completely around the ball. And look at the thumb parting straight at the ground.
All right down the pike, giving him 48 through the third with a spare in the fourth.
Chris Mattingly is not eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions, which will be held 4 weeks from today. Because he did not win in the last 2 years. He's only won one title. He won in Tucson. But you have to win more than one title to stay in for a lifetime. Mattingly needs a victory.
That's the Mattingly we know from Tacoma. Beautiful strike. And of course, don't forget, next here on ABC, live from Atlantic City, will be the Michael Spinks Marvin Johnson light heavyweight fight. Live except on the West Coast, and we are live in Miami with Bowden leading. Ooh, a 7-10.
Chris, the crowd roars, an apparent good hit. Watch the 5-pin. We talked about the light moving pins. Watch the 5-pin. The head pin goes, the 3-pin, and a 5-pin should go directly into the 7. Because of the power and the break on the ball, he rips it right behind the 7-pin, leaving a 7-10 split.
So from an 18-pin lead, Bowden now leads by 7 in our second match. The winner to meet, Bob Handley.
Bowden uses that very long fingertip grip. Notice how his hand is completely wrapped around the ball. Just the tips of his fingers in it. Big span and the big turn.
All but the 10, 5'10" incher that's got very long arms.
Definitely a bonus in the game of bowling today. Long arms gives you more leverage and longer swings, such as an arc of a golf club. You can get more power with less effort.
I wonder what would have happened if long-armed golfer Sam Snead had bowled.
The way he practices, he'd have been great.
Well, that's blowing the 10-pin in the 6th frame, 104 through that. He lost the lead to Mattingly, who leads by 4, and he can increase it to 14 because he has a double working. The right time, a double, and a 14-pin lead now for Mattingly.
See the sharp break of Mattingly. The ball laid on about the 20th board of the center of the lane, goes out to about the 9th board, and then breaks all the way back to the 17th board. That's the light pocket hit. So he has at least an 8 or 9 board break in about 20 feet.
And spectators love that type of a hook.
I think the pros like it now, too, watching all the money these guys are winning.
All right, 3 in a row. And, Bo, your fellow Hall of Famer Bill Lillard might come back.
He had the big one.
We'll return after this.
You want your import car to run its best. So insist on top quality Napa brand parts. The trusted name in domestic parts is now the name to trust in import parts. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
Wowee! Time's running out on McDonald's biggest game ever, the $10 million Build a Big Mac game.
Yeah, but there's still millions of prizes left to win.
Right, boss. Ranging from our Big Mac sandwich to Coca-Cola.
To lots of cash prizes.
Whoopee! There's still so much for people to win.
So don't just sit there.
Get out of your chair and play.
Come and build a Big Mac.
Start building your fortune today.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Kansas State University graduate, Bob Handley, who won the Alameda Open this year. He's waiting and practicing. He will be meeting the winner of this match, Bo Bowden and Jeff Mattingly.
And if they think that Mattingly throws a big hook, wait till they see Handley. If you haven't seen him, stay tuned. He is exciting.
And the winner of that semifinal will meet the tournament leader, Marshall Holman. Leaving the 2.
Bowden suddenly has lost the shot. He was around the pocket almost every ball the first match, and here in the 5th, 6th, and 7th frames of the second match has not even been close. He's been high, light, and his wife, she knows the situation.
So for Bowden, winner of the first match over Fred Connor, 199 to 198, to spare in the 7th frame, trailing by 24.
Bowden, who throws a high roll or high trajectory on his ball, much like Mattingly, occasionally you can hear it hit the thumb hole when he doesn't get out of the ball cleanly. And that's a semi-roller outside the thumb and fingers, but it'll nick the thumb hole if he doesn't get all the lift.
Nope, the 10.
Bowden looks like he recovered some of his composure after 3 frames that were quite wild. He's still in the match. He only trails by 25. 8th frame. He came from behind last match to win, but he's behind a very seasoned veteran in Jeff Mattingly.
All right, spare in the 8th. This is our 12th stop of the 1981 Winter Tour telecast. And the next 4 weeks will end it all, Bo, back to where you'll be defending your title.
Fairlanes Open, the Long Island Open. Now we go up to Windsor Locks, Connecticut, and the final jewel of the Triple Crown, the Firestone Tournament of Champions, April 25th.
And of course, May 23rd, first on the Spring Tour telecast, first time on ABC. High hit, and we have a split here. The leader is in trouble.
Chris, it's amazing to see these players who have big leads suddenly blow them with errant shots, wide open splits. Of course, that's the penalty you pay for the big hook ball. You have to, when you go for more power, you lose a certain amount of accuracy. All of a sudden, this match could be just about even after 1 frame.
All right. It's the second open now for Mattingly, and 7 pins separating these 2 professionals in our second match.
Amazing when you throw that big hook. He had a 25-pin lead, and yet in just 2 errant shots, reduced his lead by 18 pins. Only 7 pins between the 2 players, 2 frames left.
All right, foundation strike for Mattingly. So in another close match, Bowden is up. And look at this reaction from the big fella.
A much more aggressive Jeff Mattingly. 7-pin lead. Bowden needs a double to catch Mattingly in this match. 9th frame.
There's one. Dallas, Texas.
The light hit, the wall shout, the head pin going to the sideboard. Now watch, the 4, 5, 7 will be standing. There they are, and here comes the head pin across to do the damage. The spin and the power of the big players can generate a lot of strikes. The Bowden's situation is now he needs a double to take the lead. He trails by 7. He's going at a 183 pace, Mattingly at a 190. Both have a strike working in the ninth. Disappointed, he threw it right in the pocket, left the 10 pin on the light hit. He must convert this spare to make Mattingly mark.
Competition close all year on our telecast.
He's going to go back and look at that 10 pin. It's come up 2 places as in the match. In the 6th frame, he left the same hit and missed it on the left. In the 8th frame, he left the weak 10, which would have given him a double in the 9th. There you see the scoreboard. In the 10th frame, he could have taken the lead with that shot. He needs a 6-pin count to make Mattingly mark.
All but the 7 and a 182 for Bo Bowden, who had won the first match against Fred Connor, 199 to 198.
Mattingly, who has only won 1 match in his television career, is within a mark of winning his 2nd match. He needs a spare in 3 or a strike on this ball. Whoa, he almost left the 2-8-10 and has left himself a very difficult spare. Now, Chris, he said he's improved his spare making by learning to throw it harder and straighter. It can produce a victory in this game with the shot right here. Has to make this spare or he loses the match.
Sleeper 8. Tacoma, Washington.
How disappointed can you be? He goes by it. Bowden is a winner, 178 to 182, Chris. He can't believe it. Mattingly has to be so disappointed.
He went immediately over to a chair and plopped down. What a disappointment for the guy that has been top-seeded on 3 different occasions, never winning a televised event, and now leaves the 8 and loses 182 to 178.
Sam, answer the television.
Zenith announces Space Phone.
It's probably my wife. Dave, answer the television.
Are you kidding me? This could be my boss. Hubie, you answer the television.
Just push a button and answer the phone right through your new Zenith.
Hello?
Who's this, please?
Hubie Brown?
Congratulations, UV Brown. You've just won a free world cruise.
Space Phone only on Zenith System 3. We're moving television into the future.
I can't see a thing, Stan. Did you turn on the windshield wipers? Of course I did. See? No, I can't. Obviously. We need new wipers. We obviously need new wipers.
Replace your old blades at least once a year with Anco, with specially formulated natural rubber for a smooth, clean wiping action.
That's a lot better, Ollie.
Certainly is. Let's drive on.
Not too fast, Ollie. Might be a school zone.
How do you grow a great cigar? Master planter Ralph Merrill knows. Plant special Dutch Masters tobacco seedlings in a fertile valley. Control the searing sun with clouds of special cloth. And wait. Now select only the best leaves and harvest them all by hand. That's how Ralph Merrill grows a great cigar. Like the Dutch Masters Panatella. There really are masters and Dutch Masters.
All right, we're back again at the Don Carter Kendall Lanes in Miami, Florida. Our live coverage, 2 matches. An unbelievable victory by Bo Bowden, who won the first match 199 to 198. And then, as Mattingly missed an 8-pin, Bowden, who thought he was out, won 182 to 178. Now moves into the semifinal against crouching Bob Handley. And it should be a great match. Handley's one of 4 that had perfect games here at Kendall Lanes this week. Bowden will be shooting first, Bo.
Chris, the action should pick up. Handley's been red hot. He won the Alameda Open. He is a determined, experienced player holding a hot hand. Bowden's going to have to turn it on to win this match. I don't think he'll win sitting down this time.
Gets them all in the first shot of the semifinal match. The winner to meet tournament leader Marshall Holman. Let's replay that shot.
Watch the head pin do some work. It goes to the sideboard, drives the 2, into the 4, into the 7. When a player can drive the 4 pin out with a 2 pin, they can shoot some big scores.
Former school teacher, taught business after graduating from Kansas State. Leaving the 4.
Bob Hanley, looking at his thumb, he always has hand trouble, and when you spin the ball that much and put that much lift, you're going to tear away at the hand. But for this type of money, I'm sure it doesn't bother him. One thing you do have to watch is when it starts bleeding a little bit, it doesn't affect your release. Hanley finally hit the winner's circle at Alameda and has really loosened up his game, and he's a much better player for that win.
28-year-old pro. Gets the 4, and speaking of his hand problems because of the big hook, we asked Bob what he's done to correct it.
I have hand problems because the twisting motion when I come out of the ball creates a lot of friction on my thumb, and therefore it's one of the bad points of Cranker's game.
And Chris, there's really no way that no matter how many different balls he tries or releases to correct something like that, you just have to plaster it up with cotton and collodion and hope it holds together.
Mm-hmm. And that one coming up too high and leaving the 3-6.
Hanley seems to be having a little trouble with this pair all week long. He only averaged in the 190s on this pair, where other players were up in the 200s, and Marshall Holman, the tournament leader, an unbelievable 262. So Hanley has to make an adjustment like Mattingly did in the middle of the match. Move farther to the left on the approach and give the ball some room.
All right, marking with a spare in both. As Bowden gets up to shoot, how important is the speed of the ball in making adjustments?
I think it's very important today, Chris, on today's urethane finishes. That's what cost Mattingly that last match. When you need one, you have to go with a little extra speed if you throw the big hook ball. If you're a straight ball shooter, you can afford to back down and throttle down, but the big hook ball player has to use speed.
Bowden thought he had a double, but left the 10-pin here in the second frame of our semi-final match.
The second solid tap we've had today. We had the solid 8-pin by Fred Crowner in this crucial situation, the 10th frame, and Bowden the solid 10, where the 6 goes flying around the 10-pin.
Karen Bowden watching her husband. Who just made it. Let's replay and see how close.
Characteristic of some of the young crankers, Bowden almost goes by his second 10-pin of the day on the left side. Chris, they could take a tip from you. You have to use that extra speed and cut that hook down. No matter how many strikes you get, you have to fill those frames. These young players are going to learn that. They'll be up the top with Holman and Roth.
All right. Second strike for Bowden here in our semifinal match in 3 frames.
That's the big improvement that Bob Hanley has made. I've known him for a number of years, him being from Kansas area, near Missouri, and he's bowled in a lot of tournaments, but until he got where he could make spares on a very reliable basis, Bob was never a top star. He's always had the powerful strike ball. Now he's mixed it in with good spare making.
Not a high average on this championship pair. They started that one way out, leaving the 2-10. Bo, how do you make this split?
Chris, I don't even leave it. I don't have enough hook. What happens is that the big hook ball players such as Hanley, you saw what he did on that. You just slide the 2 and the 10 as the graph shows, but what happens is the big hook ball gets so far behind the head pin it goes to the sideboard and does not take out the 2, and yet the ball has enough impetus to take out the 3, 6, and 9, leaving the 10 pin. It's a hit very common to the cranker or the big hook ball player.
The odds are 4-1 for the pros. Nope. It's an open frame in the 3rd, and now Bowden leading by 15.
Crouching style of Hanley copied Marshall Holman somewhat with his shoulders bent forward like that. Look how he cups his wrist at the top of the swing. Now watch the rotation at the bottom. The wrist goes straight on the side of the ball and directly through it. Look at that foot. If he slid straight, Chris, he'd go over the foul line.
Bob Hanley of Fairway, Kansas, which is near Overland Park, where we were a week ago. 4th frame. So Hanley probably says, finally. Took 4 frames to get his first strike here in our semifinal match. We'll return with our live coverage on ABC after this.
Lawn Chief mowers sold exclusively by True Value hardware stores are quality built from the ground up with features like Briggs & Stratton engines, easy pull starters, rugged steel decks and blades, and full safety features. Lawn Chief mowers come fully assembled, are engineered for years of dependable service, and have earned the Good Housekeeping seal. See the wide selection of quality Lawn Chief power mowers exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Working late again, Mr. Peabody?
Afraid so, Rose.
You were the genius who designed the Firestone 721 tire.
That's my problem. They want me to top it.
Top it? But isn't the 721 what they call a winner?
Oh, sure. It's got 7 around 2 wrapped by 1. There's 24 million on the road, you know.
And you're gonna top that, Mr. Peabody?
Well,
The Firestone 721. It's one tough tire to top.
Great capacity crowd here at the Don Carter Kendall Lanes. One of the owners, Junior Powell, former pro, down in the left corner, as we now watch Bo Bowden of Dallas shooting in the 4th frame strike up. And with that strike, his lead is increased to 25 pins. And let's hear from the tournament leader as we go down to Nelson Burton Jr.
Thank you, Chris. Marshall, let's face it, you've been in that position round twice on this pair, and you have not done very well. These players are not bowling too well out there. What is the fate today?
Well, looks like Bo Bowden was destined to bowl Marshall Holman for the title. I'm glad I'm going to bowl him. I think I'll take it.
3 straight losses for you?
No way. This is time to win. 1981 is a different year for Marshall Holman.
Chris, he thinks he can win in his 3rd try on this championship pair.
It's got to be the favorite. Tremendous professional, great year, Marshall Holman. And making his first appearance on our telecast, Bo Bowden. All right, after a double, it's a spare in the 5th frame, 24 pins separating these 2 pros. Hanley will shoot next on the right lane.
The man that can throw as many power strikes as any player on the tour. I would say he gets the most strikes and also probably the most opens for any top player. Can cut the lead to 14 with a double.
Done just that. Now only 14 pins. And if you just join us, let's first look at the replay and I'll give you some scores.
2nd pin on the right-hand side of your lane, the 6th pin. Watch the power. See how light this ball's hitting in the pocket, yet it carries almost like a solid strike. That's the advantage of the big hook. You open that pocket up where you can strike on the 16th, 17th, and 18 boards. A 3-board strike area is tough to beat. Hanley, 1 of 4 300s bowled this week, can cut the lead to just 4 pins with another strike.
He was hoping to cut it to 4, but he left the 3-6 on the left lane.
Don Carter said this is a tough scoring pair here at the house. We just picked this pair at random for our television coverage, and yet it's competition. Players do not care what they shoot in a championship pair. It's whether they win or lose, and they'd actually like lower scores and tighter matches. They're getting their money's worth today.
Well, I'm going to go looking at the man that's won 2 matches. Here's Bob Hanley now, who hopes to win this one to go against Marshall Holman. And there's one of those surprising opens.
Chris, chopping the 3 directly off the 6. Once again, we said the problem the big hook ball players have is filling those in-between frames. Once again, Bowden has been a beneficiary of an open frame.
Leading by 28. And coming right through with a strike. There's a big field of professionals here. Nelson, let's look how they finished 6 through 24.
In 6th place, Craig Muller. Joe Berardi, who finished 6th last week, 7th. Mark Roth back in the money. Mike Durbin, who won the Millers, 9th place. Ralph Hartman right up there. Tony Acosta from the Hialeah area. Tommy Baker, Steadies area. And Bill Block from the Miami area, who led this tournament for 2 days in 13th.
21-year-old Bill Block. Leaving the 4-pin.
And more of the top 24 finishers. George Pappas, the president, steady. Bill Coleman, who we did our little on-the-road piece with. Tim Miller, who throws an exciting ball. Wait till he gets on a telecast. Art Trask, steady as usual. Gip Lantini, second week in a row. Steve Cook, the left-hander. Javinsky from Taylor, Michigan. And D. Vincent down in the field.
Okay, and the defending champion, who today, again, is our statistician, Palmer Fogren, finished 49th this week. And Earl Anthony finished 65th.
Chris, every week we pay 48 spots, 24 in the finals, or the top 24 who bowled the extra games. Right now, Hanley back to the wall, 7th frame, trails by 28 pins.
Tremendous concentration on that shot. You saw it in his eyes and the way he set himself in the approach. That was a strike in the 7th frame.
Bob Hanley, a very determined young man. His father passed away from cancer in September of 1980, and he was very close with his father, Chris, and it seems to have inspired him in the last year. He has been one of the really top oncoming players on the tour. Right now, he needs a double to close the gap to 18 pins.
Journalist Dick Evans is watching. Many of the bowling writers are here. Oh, that's a big double, cutting the lead to 18. And following this match, we will have another Rolaids bowling tip of the week. And it's a tip for you senior bowlers. In Nelson, around the country, there are a lot of senior citizens that enjoy this game.
And I'm sure this will help them.
Oh, gets it. Strike in the 8th frame for Bowden.
Divine Province is watching over Bo Bowden. He gets one of those Jersey squashers where the head pin just smashes everything down on the right side. And right now, he still has an 18-pin lead. Karen watches on. Bowden can increase it back to 28 with another strike.
And he does just that. Bowden has won 2 matches. He eliminated Fred Connor 199 to 198 in the first game. In the second game, Bowden 182, Jeff Mattingly 178, and now against Bob Handley.
Hanley can still take the lead in this match, but the most important shot of the whole game is right now. It's almost impossible to win without a strike here. 9th frame.
Ran that one out thinking he had them all, but it's a 10-pin. But finally, our group concluded a day of sightseeing, shopping, and fun by getting into the high-stepping spirit of New York, New York. Live for the 20th consecutive year, ABC Sports presents the Pro Bowlers Tour. Today, it's the championship round of the $100,000 Long Island Open, where these 5 bowlers will compete for the $13,000 top prize. In 5th place from Kingsport, Tennessee, the holder of 4 PBA championships, Steve Martin. In 4th place, seeking to end a 3-year absence from the winner's circle, Randy Lightfoot. In 3rd place from Washington, New Jersey, looking for his first PBA title, Gil Sliker. In 2nd place, the winner last week in Baltimore and last year's Bowler of the Year, Wayne Webb. And the tournament leader seeking his 4th victory this year and 3rd straight win in this tournament. So this is This is the man that will have to meet the tournament leader, Marshall Holman. All but the 10.
Bowden with a spare will be around 218. The first 200 we've had bowled today, and we expected a little better scoring than that. It seems like the players have just not been aggressive enough. So stand by. Marshall Holman's coming on.
And in 3 victories for this 23-year-old here on our live telecast from Miami. So Bo Bowden will have his final score, but be in the 210s. 188 for the loser, Bob Hanley. $7,500 for him.
Gentlemen, this meeting is called to decide which one of us is the most popular light beer drinker of all.
Must be talking about me.
I vote for my buddy, Boog Powell.
Should I take the minutes?
You can take all year.
Hey, I cast my vote for Billy Martin.
I'll second that.
Me too.
Excuse me, this chart clearly shows what a little showing off can do.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the most popular guy here.
Gentlemen, we a little respect. At least we agree that light beer from Miller tastes great.
Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it! Tastes great! Let's do it! Better make it a secret ballot.
Could we vote for Red Auerbach?
Please?
What?
I'm voting for me.
Count the vote, and that's no joke. All right. Gentlemen, we have a winner.
Says here the winner is Bubba Smith.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Solar power, it can save you money. A special report Monday on ABC's World News Tonight.
Another business trip. Wish there were a faster way to get things done.
Haven't you heard? The fastest way to cover your territory is by long distance. You contact more customers in less time, so sales go up and traveling expenses go down.
What are you doing here, then?
Me? My team just won a sales contest. We're going to the Bahamas. Right, guys?
Long distance. It's the way to get things done today.
Seconds count in a poison emergency. The victim's recovery or even survival may depend on your first reaction being the right one. Would you know what to do? Call 779-6667, the Providence Poison Center hotline, where you can get immediate first aid information and emergency help for any poison or drug overdose emergency. Be prepared in a poison emergency and keep our number 779-6667 near your phone.
You're watching KOBI 5M Medford.
So, first time on our telecast from Dallas, Texas, Kenneth Bo Bowden has won his third match. This one over Bob Handley, 218 to 188, as the players in the championship match. Marshall Holman, the tournament leader, going against Bo Bowden. That'll be coming up very soon. You know, we've always been proud of the fact that bowling is a game for all sizes, all shapes, and ages. Bo's tip today is for senior citizens, senior bowlers. Watch and listen.
The Pro Bowlers Tour Tip of the Week is brought to you by Rolaids.
Today I'm going to address some of the problems senior citizens may encounter. With me is Bill Kane, a twice-a-week, 167 average bowler. Bill, what are some of the problems you see popping up in your league?
Well, we have a couple of problems. The major ones, lack of concentration and staying down with the shot.
Well, Bill, lack of concentration can be solved with a mental checklist. There's 4 points to remember. Your position on the approach, your arm closer to your body, your hand in a nice consistent position at release, and a nice smooth follow through. As far as getting down at the line, remember you're not as young as you once were, and you're not as flexible. So what you should do as a senior citizen is bend more at the waist. That way you'll have a nice smooth delivery at the point of release. Let's see how it works.
Thanks, Bo. I'll try it.
Nice shot, Bill. You learned your lesson well. Good mental concentration. You stayed down at the line by bending at the waist, and you got tremendous results.
Thanks, Bo.
The New York Stock Exchange. When people here get acid indigestion, and you know they do, they can't just stop. No wonder so many people take Rolaids, the tablet that gives millions 100% relief. Like a sponge, Rolaids antacid medicine consumes 100% of the acid required to give millions 100% relief. With Rolaids, you can keep going. Rolaids. Rolaids spells 100% relief.
All right, we're back again at Don Carter's Kendall Lanes in Miami, Florida. 3 matches in our live coverage. Now we're down to the final game. A first-time starter in our telecast, Bo Bowden of Dallas, now goes against a man that creates emotions. Like or dislike, Marshall Holman from Medford, Oregon. A great player. Well, all but the 3-6. 26 years old, 5'9", 140 pounds. Marshall Holman, and Nelson told you earlier, had finished twice here in this event.
Last year went down to defeat of Palmer Falgren on the same pair of lanes.
But he's a man that's second in the money standings. This year he's already won $78,500 behind Earl Anthony, but with the victory today, he would be $500 short of the $100,000 mark. And it's March.
Not a bad 3 months work.
And Bo Bowden, who has won 3 matches, leaves the 10-pin on the right lane.
The characteristic of this pair of lanes, the right-hand lane, lane 24 here at Don Carter, the tighter of the 2 lanes. The left lane, they have to give room. We've seen every player be pretty successful on the right lane and struggle on the left.
Nice cross-lane shot. Almost trouble with the hook again. Bo Bowden of Dallas, who defeated Fred Connor 199 to 198 in the first match. That's Holman going to his repair or added equipment bag.
Bowden not eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Marshall Holman, a multi-champion, going for his 4th title this year. Bowden just sliding by and leaving the 2-pin without the big hook like Mattingly has and Bob Hanley. Bowden does have as much tendency to leave the 10 on that light hit, but he breaks that ball very sharply at the back end. Easy spare cross lane.
In Bowden's second match, he defeated Jeff Mattingly 182 to 178, and then in the last match eliminated Bob Hanley 218 to 188. Marshall Holman now shooting in the second frame, a spare working. All right, there's his big strike. We talked to Marshall earlier and asked him why he bowled so well in Miami.
I bowl real good in Miami because of the pin carry. My ball is strong. It knocks the pins down. I get a lot of off hits. That's why I bowl good here.
And that last hit epitomized it. He hit light and ripped him out. He leads by 1.
So there he is, winner of 3 already this year with the big double and an 11-pin lead.
Just overpowering. Watch this 5-pin just rip through the rack. Just takes everything out. The 4, the 7, everything. 11-pin lead. Holman is on the hottest streak I've ever seen in professional bowling. He's going to be tough to beat.
Crossing over and leaving the 6-pin. Bowden, winner of 3 matches. We hope you saw them all.
Unemotional Bo Bowden going for $21,000. Trails by 12. Has to be careful with his spares.
All right, this is our championship match. I'm seated alongside the most recent inductee into the ABC Bowling Hall of Fame. Bo, what impressed you most in Memphis on Thursday night?
Chris, I think the emotion of the whole feeling, all the people there, my parents, my family, my wife and children, just coming down and enjoying the moment. 20 years culmination.
Boy, it was fun to watch it happen. So those cheering for Bowden after 3 spares, Bowden has a strike. We're going to return to Miami, Florida after this.
And all the time I've been hauling new cars, I've never seen anything like it. Quaker State's new lifetime engine lubrication protection program. Use Quaker State and you can get protection that guarantees your new car engine against oil-related failure. The engine, as long as you own it, in writing. It's guaranteed by Quaker State. The quality motor oil. Refined from Pennsylvania-grade crude oil.
New car or old, you'll be staying on the road with Quaker State.
What this country needs today is a really good rental truck at a really good price. So Ryder presents the $19.95 a day truck. For local rentals, this 18-foot Ryder truck is now only $19.95 a day plus mileage. And Ryder has great rates on other size trucks, too, from small vans up to giant tractors. What this country needs today is a really good rental truck at a really good price. Ryder.
We've come down to the championship match. Kendall Lanes, Marshall Holman with the double up. Just tightening the screws a little more with that turkey. And a 22-pin lead here. That strike coming in the fourth frame.
Chris, while Holman's asking for a re-rack, I'd like to congratulate you on being the youngest member to the Sportscasters Hall of Fame. Chris Schenkel goes in the Hall of Fame next Monday night. Quite an honor.
Thank you. Well, you're being the youngest in the ABC Bowling Hall of Fame. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe we're getting old. Holman, 22-pin lead, turkey working.
To it.
Holman leaves the 2, 4, 6, 7. A very unusual hit. That sharp hook cutting right through has all of a sudden brought a new light to this match. Chris, I know Marshall Holman. If you don't want him to win, just don't get his temper up. The crowd over here was yelling when he left that split, egging him on. That just, all it does is make him just that much better.
But now they're cheering him.
That's how easily they turn.
And of course, Bowden is not forgotten. With that double, he's trailing by 8 pins. What a great championship match.
Bowden, solid hit, driving the 2-pin right into the 4-7. A double coming up in the 6th frame now. He can take the lead for the first time in the match.
So there's a 3-bagger for Bowden. A 3-bagger for Holman, a conversion, and now Holman is up and ready, trailing by 2. He's shooting in the 6th frame.
What a contrast of personalities.
Leaving the 6-10 as we replay the stroke and look at a profile angle.
Marshall Holman usually with that great pendulum arm swing. Watch this time. It's at the top. Now it'll bounce out slightly to the right, causing him to pull the ball slightly to the left, leaving the 6-10. Got a good break. He didn't get a split. Holman with 3 titles this year. Earl Anthony with 3 titles this year. Holman going for a record 4th title. I don't believe that I have ever remembered somebody winning 4 on the Winter Tour, but he trails by 4. 6th, 7th frame coming up.
Next here on ABC, it'll be Wide World of Sports, a light heavyweight bout. Michael Spinks, Marvin Johnson, followed by the Flamingo Stakes from Hialeah. We're in Miami, Florida, and you're looking at Marshall Holman, the 26-year-old who has $78,000 earned, and Harry Golden, the tournament director all these years, looking at the request of Holman for a re-rack.
You're allowed 1 during the match. If you need a second one, Harry Golden must be the man to give it to you.
Leaving another 6-10, Holman.
Holman elbowing the shot a little bit today, not getting deep enough and trusting the ball far enough, has actually bailed out quite a bit. He could be in real trouble. The last 2 shots, 3 shots have been right through the nose. He could have had splits in all of them. So far, he hasn't even had an open.
All right. Our congratulations go to the Director of Public Relations for the Professional Bowlers Association, because Bud Fisher this week won the Mort Luby Senior Meritorious Service Award, voted on by the Bowling Writers Association of America.
Bowden with a chance to really put Holman in trouble. Could take a 16-pin lead with another strike.
Oh, I think that 10-pin wobbling like your legs were in Memphis the other night. A little shaky.
How close? Watch the 6-pin lay in the channel, lay up against the 10-pin, and almost drive it out. This would have given a 16-pin lead for Bowden. Now he has a tough spare for him.
Hooking back, fortunately. Excitement galore, and enjoying every minute of it is that Medford Oregonian, Marshall Holman.
He thrives on the crowd. If the crowd wouldn't root against Marshall, I think he would struggle out there. That's the fuel for his personality. Bowden, 8th frame, leads by 5, championship match.
Strike in the 8th frame here in Miami. Karen looks cool, Mrs. Bowden.
Watch the 2-pin, the 3rd pin on the left side of the screen. Go to the sideboard, go right between, and the head pin nail out the 4. Trips out to 4-7. When the top pros can carry that hit as well as the light hit, they have to have good scores.
Oh, no. A 7-10 on the right lane for tournament leader Marshall Holman, replaying the stroke.
Marshall always said his carry is great here in Miami, but watch this one. Definitely a bad break. The second time we've seen it today, the swishing 7-10. Holman talking to the crowd. They were jeering him on the way to the foul line. He stopped, turned to the crowd, says, "Let me work." He's actually only going to go for 1, but I'm sure he'll give it an effort with extra speed.
Breaking the concentration. Well, under pressure, all of us react a little differently. And talk about intensity. This 26-year-old has it. Just a great competitor. And sometimes spectators, we all have rabbit ears, Bo, and in putting and golf and bowling like this, the proximity of the crowd can be awfully disconcerting.
Chris, if he lets the crowd get to him in a negative manner, as they did that last frame, they'll follow him around the country. He has to regain his composure. He needs a strike here to put some pressure on Bowden. Holman trails by 19. The best he can do is 218. Bowden is going at a 217 pace. So Holman has to get it going. 9th frame.
All right. Crossover strike.
Marshall Holman, who has never won a championship match on this pair, crosses over, gets a lucky Brooklyn strike, and keeps him in the match. Bowden, definitely in the driver's seat, leads by 19. 9th frame strike working.
Doug Myers on the bubble to compete in this year's Firestone Tournament of Champions. Strike and a 29-pin lead for a man that has never been on our professional Bowlers Tour telecast.
Bowden within 1 mark of going to the Firestone, winning his first title, and sending Marshall Holman down to his 3rd consecutive title defeat on this pair of lanes in Miami. A strike would lock it up. It's not over yet, but all he needs is a spare and a 4 count, and he will have the match won.
Looking up at that overhead score sheet, Kenneth Bo Bowden now try to cover a 2-pin on the left lane. And does.
Chris, he just needs 3 pins to shut out Marshall Holman. Victory is within the grasp of Bo Bowden. First time on and a victory, 21,000.
Shooting a 226. Bowden, who this year had earned $7,520, has just won a check of $21,000 along with a gold-plated Master Mechanic hammer, because this is a True Value Open in Miami.
Ford announces the continuation of their 10% cash assistance program on new 81 Fairmonts, Mustangs, and Granadas. Now you can get a check direct from Ford for 10% of the base vehicle sticker price on roomy new Fairmonts.